Hey Phil, we've got a bunch of comments about why you're giving away free education. Why is poker training so important to you?
It's a good question. This is something that I've been asked a lot. Sometimes asked, sometimes kind of criticized. Essentially, why are you making poker harder? So I've taught poker in some form or another. For 13 years maybe. I started out writing some strategy articles. Back in the day, the 2+2 forums were huge, and I was posting a lot of strategy there with other people. And then went on to make training videos, started a training site, release training tools, etc., and make videos like this, where for the most part, I'm trying to teach. I think there's a misconception about what it means to make poker harder. Depending on where poker is in its growth or in its kind of universal understanding or amount of shared common knowledge, I think the answer is different. So if you start out in a game where there are 10 players who know how to play and everybody else is clueless, if one of those 10 players goes and makes training videos, he's now made the game a lot harder for those other 9 players who had thousands of players to take advantage of who were not learning on their own for whatever reason. Poker hasn't been that way for a very long time, and I think it really never was at the time that I, have been playing. I think before then, they're actually kind of it was kind of like this, where the circles were small of people who played well and discussed strategy and ran calculations like simulations on like the first computers. And actually would deal out like hundreds of flops and turns and rivers and write down to estimate like equities. Back then, I think it was a different story. But Doyle Brunson was regularly criticized for releasing Super System, which is a comprehensive book on poker strategy in a lot of the major games. And I think I want to come at this from 2 different angles. The first angle I want to come at it is, poker is almost zero sum. It's zero sum minus sum, as Tommy Angelo likes to say, which is rake. But effectively, for poker to get harder for some people, it's gotten easier for other people because with exceptions where everybody just becomes break even and everybody loses to rake, which is not realistic. Some players who, let's say, are really naturally talented and did well before solvers came out, before training videos came out, or whatever the case may be, those players were harmed by the release of solvers. I'm actually somebody who I think was harmed by solvers in that sense, in like how I compared strategically to the field. Who is to say that the person who is more naturally talented or learned something that others don't know is more deserving of winning than the person who bought a poker course and worked really hard with a solver to get better? I don't think that one is more. If anybody's more deserving, it's the one who's putting in the work to learn more. So I don't think it's wrong to kind of take expected value from the former and give to the latter. But more importantly, I don't really think much of that is what happens. And I think what happened with Super System and what happens with poker YouTube videos, poker streams, even poker training videos, the poker ecosystem is not static. It's not closed. It's not fixed. A lot of people get interested in poker for different reasons, and some get interested because they like the self-improvement journey. They like to get better at a game. And for people who come into poker, they lose. They have nowhere to learn. They don't get any better. They just go find another hobby. But actually, many of those players who then join a training site or watch YouTube videos start to have a lot more fun with poker. They find it really interesting. And then when some of those people watch videos and a YouTube channel grows, maybe somebody who is interested in blackjack happens upon a poker YouTube channel and watches a video and says, hey, that sounds really interesting. I'd like to try that. And so actually poker grows. And I think this is what happened, like I said, with Super System. As there are different elements of the game to explore, it helps poker grow. And the counter argument to that is, well, when games get tougher as a whole, then when new people come in, they have a worse experience, and then it makes poker shrink because they lose faster. And that is fair, except that those people then have access to those resources too. And so they actually can see, all right, I came in, I lost. Oh, but I found this video course, I found this tool, I found these streams, and I can now see my path to getting better. And that's exciting to me. I want to keep doing it. On the whole, the way that I would view any kind of poker education, whether it be videos, whether it be training tools, whatever the case may be, I think that if it brings more people or keeps more people in poker, it's going to be almost always a net positive. And if somehow it takes away, detracts people from poker, and you could argue that that happens. Like, some people will come watch a poker stream and they see somebody streaming with a heads-up display that has 40 stats on every opponent across the table. And they look at that and they say, okay, I'm not playing online poker, that's scary. I've heard stories like that. And maybe they come in and they watch a stream and they see somebody studying in one of these ugly solvers, which, because most of them are not very pretty. And it just looks like a tool that you'd never want to get in and learn that. It seems really boring and tedious and complicated and advanced. And so for the same reasons, they don't get in. I think that those things can happen. I think for the most part, though, most training content, video content, whether it be free or paid, I think doesn't do that. I think it excites and empowers people who are consuming it because they are getting better. And part of what's fun about poker and fun about a lot of things in life, especially hobbies, is the progression as you go through it. You know, do I know for a fact that teaching all of you who are watching this is making poker better, is not making poker harder? No, I don't really know. But I strongly suspect the more people we teach, the more people we get interested in poker, the more people we keep enjoying poker and kind of keep motivated to learn and to improve, the better for poker as a whole. And I mean, at the end of the day, I love talking strategy. I love teaching in general, and poker is what I'm good at. So I'll probably just, even if you convince me otherwise, I'd probably just keep teaching it. Well, you probably didn't learn very much today, but hopefully from some of my other videos, you've learned a lot, and it's helped you improve your game. It's helped you enjoy poker more. And maybe hopefully, some of you have gotten into poker more seriously because of me. That'd be great. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time with probably a more educational video. Take care.